This is not a story for those who are easily scared or disturbed. In the realm of crime, there are stories that shock us and make us cringe with disgust. But folks, this one reveals the darkest parts of human nature and makes us question what one person can do to another. In the early hours of September 20th, 2015, Florida experienced a shocking event that would forever haunt the peaceful city. A distressing call to the local police dispatch unveiled a crime scene that was horrifying. Fidel Lopez, a distressed young man around 24 years old, frantically reached out for help in a gripping phone call. His voice filled with panic as he described his girlfriend, Maria Namath's struggle to breathe, her life hanging in the balance. The recording of his desperate 911 call abruptly ended, leaving crucial information unanswered. The investigation revealed signs of violence, with removed closet doors and holes in the wall. Sadly, Maria Namath did not survive, and Fidel Lopez became the prime suspect in one of the most savage murders in U.S. history. According to Fidel's account, he and Maria had a seemingly normal evening after leaving his family's place, stopping for drinks and purchasing alcohol before returning home. However, after consuming a significant amount of tequila, he claimed to have erupted into a violent rage, causing destruction throughout the apartment. He cited intoxication as the reason for not recalling the trigger behind his actions. These chilling details shed light on a tragedy that unfolded within a supposedly loving relationship.
Lopez, L-O-P-E-Z.
Excellent. Okay. And you're 26 years old?
No, 24.
24? And your date of birth?
March 28, 1991.
He confessed that he and Maria engaged in a sexual activity, concluding in an evening of rough sex concealed within the confines of a closet. Fidel claimed that they somehow found themselves in the bathroom, where Maria was overcome by an urgent need to throw out. In a peculiar twist, Fidel abruptly left her for smoking outside. He was quick to offer his cooperation, eagerly volunteering himself for questioning. However, the detectives assigned to the case remained unconvinced by his story, dismissing it as a web of deceit and manipulation.
We bought some, margaritas, and then after that we go to the ABC or something like that. It's a liquor store, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go. So let's start today. You worked. Today's Sunday.
Today's Sunday.
Yesterday was Saturday. Did you work Saturday?
Yeah, I worked Saturday.
Okay. What time did you get off?
I get off around 4:20.
Around 4:20.
Exactly. I have my papers.
As the investigation goes further, the detective seeks to uncover the nature of these unusual demands, urging Lopez to provide details. Lopez, initially hesitant, expresses his discomfort with the subject matter, emphasizing that he was merely following Maria's instructions without any disrespect. He claims that he was willing to fulfill her desires, regardless of how unconventional they may have been. Even if it meant putting his hand in her vagina, he was willing to oblige. As the conversation progresses, it crosses the limits of devastation, as Lopez confesses that he struggles to recall the exact details, questioning whether he inserted the bottle into her vagina as Maria had requested. The detective probes further, seeking clarification on the type of bottle in question, to which Lopez mentions a beer bottle. It was a case like no other. The evidence was scattered, the statements conflicting, but we knew that somewhere within these fragments lay the key to uncovering the truth. In the midst of chaos and confusion, the criminal's actions reveal his desperate attempts to save the woman he loves. But what led to this horrifying situation?
Beans and rice.
Okay.
So we just eat and we went to Miami to see my mother.
Around what time was that?
That was around 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
6:30 to 7:40 or something like that.
Okay.
Then when we get out from Hialeah, we just went straight to the Chili's.
The detective wasted no time and asked Lopez about the sexual acts that occurred that night. They persistently questioned him about other objects involved, and he admitted to using the bottle and his penis. He denied any prior involvement in such activities, highlighting the shocking and abnormal nature of this encounter. As the investigation proceeded, The investigator questioned Fidel about the extensive damage in his apartment. He admitted causing it that night, but couldn't explain his anger. He briefly mentioned Maria mentioning her ex-boyfriend, but dismissed it as the cause. He repeated the exact same thing again and again. He tried splashing water on her face from the shower, despite the apartment being in a mess, with blood everywhere. It's peculiar how he remembers details that make him look like a hero, but can't explain the horrors within the apartment where Maria died. Did he try putting her into the tub? With further revelation, Fidel stated that he wanted to put her in the bathtub, but he insisted he was drunk and didn't mean to harm her. He claims he attempted CPR, despite not knowing how. He showed that his memory was selective, recalling some details but struggling with others.
I do it.
Okay. Which is what? What did she ask you to do?
I put my arm in her pussy. I put my dick in her pussy. I believe I got the bottle. It was a small bottle. It was like a beer bottle or something like that. And she wanted me to put there too. You know, I just tried to make her happy, whatever.
I understand.
But she was constant. She was like she wasn't like knocked out or something like that. I would never do that to my girl, knocked out. You know, that's not me, man. That's not me.
From right here, things started to unfold. Regarding the broken glass, he admits to lying and not knowing when or how it happened. He denies using his girlfriend to break it, stating he has never hit a woman. Horribly, it was found out that Maria was bleeding too. He asserts that after consuming the beer, he inserted his arms into Maria despite her bleeding. He denies the bottle breaking inside her, but conveniently forgets which part he used. However, when questioned, he admits to inserting the entire bottle. He recalls Maria bleeding more after removing the bottle. Lopez supports the claim that these events occurred in the closet. He also contends that Maria, seemingly unaffected by the bleeding, went to the bathroom on her own. As you can see, he remembered each and everything, but forgot the important part whenever asked. The scene was horrifying. The injuries inflicted on Maria went beyond insight. It was inconceivable that she could have walked to the bathroom and requested such violent acts while her own guts lay scattered on the floor nearby. In their questioning, the detectives mentioned several items found in the apartment, including a flashlight, a coat hanger, and hair straighteners, suggesting they may have been used in a similar manner to the beer bottle. Fidel claims to remember using his arm and the beer bottle, but remained unsure about Maria's injuries and ultimate demise. Despite his insistence that everything was consensual, the pieces of the puzzle did not fit together, leaving investigators disturbed and perplexed. Detectives, hungry for answers, eager to bridge the gap and uncover the truth. He repeatedly emphasized his lack of recollection beyond the crucial moment when he had taken to cleansing his hands and arm, stained with an unsettling trace of blood. In an attempt to provide rest, the detective suggested a brief pause for a smoke break.
It looks like a caterpillar engine.
Caterpillar engine?
Yeah.
Okay. We got a little bit of a problem.
Okay.
Yes. All right. I just got off the phone with our crime scene, and the medical examiner is there. Okay, the doctor, and there's the injury to her is severe injuries.
It was then that one of the detectives confidently proposed his theory. He assumed that Fidel's performance had suffered due to the excessive amount of alcohol consumed that fateful night, leading to a subsequent altercation. Lopez denied the accusation, strongly asserting his memory lapse. Sensing the need to intensify their approach, the officers began to apply greater pressure, determined to uncover the truth.
Fidel, this is not a case of just rough sex.
Yeah.
Okay? This is not a case of rough sex. There's blood everywhere. Everywhere.
Listen, just tell us.
I'm just doing whatever she was telling me to do.
She wasn't telling you to do that. Because listen, Fidel, the amount of pain that she would have been in would have been unbearable. Okay? The amount the doctor just looked inside of her, and the amount of pain that she would have had, she wouldn't have been able to withstand it.
I don't kill her.
After the struggles of the detectives, Fidel Lopez was found confessing to his actions, admitting that he had violated his girlfriend's privacy by extracting her guts from her vagina. His rage was triggered when she accidentally referred to her ex-husband's name, causing him to become furious, as he believed the activities they engaged in were reminiscent of those between Maria and her former spouse. He reluctantly disclosed that Maria did not walk to the bathroom, but rather crawled. Observing the situation, one could argue that this was an extreme case of jealousy. Now, this time, he was making sense. Let me ask you, which woman could ever walk by herself after her insides are out? Fidel attempted to attribute his behavior to alcohol, claiming that if he had been sober, he might have chosen to leave the apartment. However, he stayed instead. His justification of being in a state of blackout was contradicted by his confessions, which rendered that theory invalid.
Well,
No,
maybe in your head you're thinking that, but
No.
well, I know she might have been talking at the beginning, but there's some point in time when she's not conscious because what was taken out of her is impossible for
When
you.
she was not conscious, when I get into the bathroom, she was not breathing. She was like this. That's the point that she was unconscious. But when we doing the stuff, she was talking to me. She was telling me, do it, keep doing.
Fidel,
Just let down.
this is not rough sex, man. I told you that. This is not. This is a lot more than rough sex.
I know.
Okay, so if you know, explain to us. Tell us.
Then, detectives interrogating Fidel questioned him about his initial lies during the interview, to which he responded that fear had compelled him to deceive. Additionally, they posed mental inquiries regarding his clothing throughout the interrogation, likely aiming to challenge his claims of memory loss. Interestingly, Fidel appeared to answer these questions accurately without difficulty. Only when confronted with the inquiries pertaining to his misconduct did his memory seem to fail him. Shockingly, Fidel proceeded to subject her to unspeakable acts of violence, introducing various objects, including a beer bottle, both his fists, and even hair straighteners inside her. The affidavit further detailed Fidel's admission of forcibly removing bloody tissue from Maria's violated body through her vagina, as well as from her anus. Tragically, Maria remained unconscious throughout the ordeal, and her life ultimately slipped away, forever lost. After washing his hands, Fidel coldly stepped outside to indulge in a cigarette. Upon returning to the scene of the crime, he attempted to conceal her intestines within the closet before returning to the bathroom, only to discover that Maria had ceased to breathe. In a state of panic, he finally dialed emergency services, alerting them to the horrific events that had transpired. At last, in 2017, Fidel Lopez faced a conviction for the heinous crime of murdering Maria Namath, a 31-year-old woman. The court delivered a life sentence to Lopez, ruling out any possibility of parole. The idea that a guy extracted a woman's guts from her vagina makes me feel horrified, but not as horrified as when I watched the most twisted interrogation you'll ever see. Click that video right here.